closed their operations, and people were unable to access their funds there. So self-custody in that cases where users hold their private keys, and this ensures true ownership, I believe reduces a lot the risks associated with centralized systems, be it banks, exchanges, or other kind of institutions. And it also, I would argue that somehow, so if you are educated enough, it's safer than keeping your funds in a bank, even though probably the number of hacks that may target you is huge. But as long as you respect some simple rules, I believe you are safe.
I don't necessarily agree that it has to come with education. Sorry, maybe on Ethereum, yes, because you are not allowed to click on any link or on any kind of EVM systems. But we have the tools and all the algorithm, and right now we have the system on MultiversX where people can actually have their funds in a much safer way. They can keep it and they can use it. Xportal is such a place where you have all those, let's say, approved apps in some sense. And then what people do there, it's pretty simple. And I haven't actually heard any of my non-Web3 people, friends, who have Xportal to be hacked. So they are using the basic staking, the card, sometimes swapping, sometimes playing some stuff. And they don't get anything suspicious or anything wrong with it, even though there are a lot of targets. This is not the same thing on the EVM side. And probably you know that. I'm just saying that with the right tools, with the guardians, with everything around it, the Xportal app, let's say, it's much safer than your banking account, and that should be enough. And then education, you need, as people learned how to use their credits and debit cards, and some of them still make mistakes, some of them still lose funds, and they started to use their banking apps, they will be using the crypto apps as well. And those should have much better properties if they are built properly.
It's exactly that. So I've been in the trenches with the support team many times for Xportal hacks, not hacks of the Xportal, but mistakes that people or the users were doing. Honestly, after launching Guardians, indeed, I believe the number of hacks fell to, I don't know, 10%, the number it was previously. So it's a great improvement, but still mistakes are being done by users. And I believe that only through education. And here we have to improve our level of creating, let's say, best practice videos or best practice rules for the users, so that they can much more easily protect themselves from being hacked.
How much of that is like education versus just user experience or user interface, right? Like, I think Xportal does a really good job of being accessible, etc. But I think there's still an extra step. Like the Guardian is extremely safe, right? Like it's very difficult to get your funds stolen once you have that activated. But prompting people in the right way to really then do the right actions and not get lost in these functions as well. Sometimes it's difficult to understand what you're even setting up or why you're setting it up. I think that's also kind of a learning and something where blockchain is now getting kind of usable and from an UX standpoint, but it is something that's still behind systems that work in a certain way that is expected. And then if something happens that's unexpected, like a hack, at least you have a way to get your money back through insurance, etc. Right? This is the big sort of not your keys, not your coins thing. It comes with a lot of responsibility that people.
But the same responsibility is if you are having cash with you.
Sure.
Or if you some of your claims on your funds, if you put your debit or credit card number in the wrong place, you will not get it back. So, and even with cash, you have, let's say, a worse security because they just need to strangle a little bit you, and you will give up everything you have on you.
But you're not going to carry your life savings in cash on you most of the time anyway, right? Like, whereas if you put all of your money or a substantial amount of your money into your crypto wallet, then that's just that. Like,
that's bad strategy. So you have to educate.
But then again, like, the one thing we don't
how
want to
many
do.
people, in the world right where we are right now, let's say 90% of the people do not have savings accounts. So we have to solve for them firstly, and then to solve for the others. But all I was trying to say about this, that I get so mad about when people, instead of developing good solutions, they are wanting to switch back to the old ones because of, I don't know, complicancy, or just, I don't know. I hate this. We can see it on Bitcoin, on Ethereum, and everywhere else. But I have one more, or I think I have two more topics, and then these are fairly technical. So it was by Vitalik, who was again starting to propose that RISC-V VM versus WASM, not WASM, but that EVM want to use RISC-V, and I just don't understand. And then how people are just starting to hype it, and they don't actually get it, what it means. And in some sense, it's sad to say, but it's stupid. Like, you have WASM, which is a general purpose middle layer language, which runs in browser, which runs on your phone, which runs everywhere, where you can develop on 30, 40 languages towards WASM. And then it is developed by the biggest entities in the web world, from Mozilla to Facebook to Google, Apple. Everybody added their contribution. You have multiple engines. Everything is open sourced, and then everything is working like since I think since 2016, 2017, and then everything is standardized. And then no, you want to just choose a VM which is like this kind of exotic things. Only some small set of people know about it, and it is actually slow, and it doesn't have so many properties. They start to say that it is because of ZK VMing. Yeah, WASM can be ZK VM'd as well without any problems, and it actually resolves much faster. So I just don't get any point of choosing that VM over let's say WASM. It doesn't have anything. Anyway, these are like those kind of 5 to 7 years plans of Ethereum. Maybe they will never be developed.
I can think of a reason why, and I believe it's quite legit. Looking back at our experience, Robert, with building on top of all kind of SoCs, like system on chips and all kind of chips back in the days. So RISC-V, it's actually an open source instruction set architecture for which you can build different hardware architectures, different than the ones that ARM, for example, which are very expensive, offer. And I believe that the reasoning why Vitalik was thinking about the RISC-V being a potential solution for him was exactly that, because he can build this new VM on top of a more performant hardware sometime in the future. So probably at this time in this moment in time, it's not the best choice, as you already argued, but in the future it may become. I don't know exactly the numbers, but I think he said 50 or 100 times more performant on RISC-V than what overhead they have right now on Ethereum.
Yeah, but EVM it's slow compared to other any execution engines. And then when the whole world is building on a set of hardware and they are optimizing that and that and that for a decentralized and permissionless world, you want to run your system on hardware which is accessible or
Exactly.
available at every single store. You cannot optimize for some kind of exotic hardware which will be available for some researchers in some faculties, and they will have a production of a few thousands per year.
I believe
do it. You want to decentralize and you want to go. If you want to decentralize and you want to go all in for the permissionless way, you have to build for the 99.99% of the available things.
So if you would ask me, I would see it this way. Solana did their mobile phone, and I don't know if they have some new hardware project. Sui has Sui Play, and Ethereum may think about why not doing a box for validating on Ethereum.
Yeah, but Solana and Sui Play, they are running on the same common hardware. They are
exactly.
Android, and even on Android OS. So that's it.
But
and you want to run on common hardware because crypto should be about common people, not about researchers. It was about researchers like, let's say, 10 years ago. So right now, let's.
I was thinking there was a season in Silicon Valley series. They were selling these boxes, and I'm just trying to skip from this. Yeah.
I want to talk about a chain that is for the billions, not the researchers. I want to talk about MultiversX and its developments. First up, I think what we're going to talk about is, of course, the next biggest upgrade. Last time we were here, as you were mentioning, we were there live when Barnard went live. Now we're past the governance proposal of Barnard. Andromeda, sorry, misspoke before. We were here for the Andromeda launch. Now we're here for the Barnard testnet, which is imminent, or
deployed.
maybe even deployed.
Yeah.
You guys can tell us.
It is getting activated in a few hours, so everybody can start testing all the new things and the new fun there.
Let's talk about that. Maybe Mihai, you want to start us off here with a little bit of an overview what the new upgrade brings, the improvements, etc. And then Robert, you can add a bunch of the details, as you were very much in the trenches on that. Upgrade.
So I will start, but I believe that the main stage should be Robert's, given the majority of the VM hooks and VM upgrades that are coming with Barnard. And I will start with the governance upgrade that Barnard brings. So for those of you who voted for Barnard, Andromeda, and all the other, let's say, blockchain or MultiversX upgrades, a very big thank you, and continue doing so. This is the beauty of a decentralized system. So coming back, how we were doing it, which was not completely a decentralized manner, we were publishing the entire list of changes and let's say commit hashes and PRs which are entering as code change for this upgrade. We were publishing them in Agora, and we were inviting everyone to have a look, analyze for themselves if they agree or not with the changes, and afterwards to test it on a testnet and come with suggestions or disapprovals if something was bad. After this step, we would have had to manually deploy a smart contract, the governance smart contract, for so that people could come and vote, or let's say participate with their choice in respect to what they researched before. From Barnard on, so let's say if we are not going to have any other governance calls by Supernova, so with Supernova, but we will have some other governance calls, the entire system is going to be automated. For example, the contract is going to be a system contract running on the chain, and the proposer is going to block a sum of EGLDs. It was voted for 500 EGLD, and he will have to promote his idea, his suggestion to the community in order to receive their approval or disapproval. Like, if the vote is going to be yes in the majority, this would mean that the team, or at least there was consensus on what will be agreed to be committed to the client, the blockchain client. If it's going to be no, even though it is going to be no, the 500 EGLD are not going to be blocked. Not even so when it's yes, obviously they are not going to be blocked. When the result is no, they are not going to be blocked. But if the result of the vote is no with veto, then a percentage of the sum is going to be blocked and is going to be distributed to the community fund, governance community fund, which is going to be used and voted, of course, on what should be the purpose of the funds to be used afterwards in the decision. So the entire process is going to be automated. Anyone basically in the community who has 500 EGLD will be able to propose any kind of proposals if they believe they will have, let's say, quorum and approval from the community. And
I think that what I want to say about the governance is that the process remains the same, and then everybody who wants to go on the governance, they should go through an off-chain governance process, and then in the end to go for the actual on-chain voting, because you have to make the people know about what you are going to propose in order for the people to get to vote to you. It is hard to make, let's say, a good on-chain governance, and then some of the decisions are interesting or to make. And then we followed, let's say, the Cosmos model in this, because that's where the most on-chain governance votes happened, and the Tezos model as well. Actually, it's the same. Cosmos did it first, and then everybody who launched the Cosmos chain has roughly the same governance mechanics, and those seems to be working on all other ecosystems. So we use that one. So you just go into off-chain, you start to present, you start to have discussions with us. We invite the momentum, we invite you to, or you can create your own shows about your proposal. And when you start to get and gather a lot of people and attention, then go on and launch your proposal on the chain. You will have to have a GitHub commit. Why GitHub commit? Because it's open and it's an open protocol, and because from the GitHub commit we can take automatically the information and then push it into X portal and push it to millions of users you can create your own front end and push it to other millions of people or everybody as well. But this is how things, let's say, get simplified in this way.
Do you guys have an example of like how you would love the governance to be used, like the type of proposal that people should make, or the kind of changes? Because these are protocol changes that are then baked into the new code and added to the code base, if I'm not mistaken. So like, what's an example of what somebody could do with this new mechanism?
I have an example I've seen on Agora. Sorry, Robert, for and I think it's a very interesting one and a very valid one. And we decided that we will return on it after we finished with Barnard. So we are close to that moment. Some validator from the community proposed to have a minimum of 5% service fee for all the validators in the network. So this is a very good proposal to open discussions for, come to, if the respective validator cannot, let's say, host a space and invite the entire community of validators to discuss, then they can come to us and we can support them with organizing such session. By the way, next week we are going to have validator sessions, so I think it's the perfect moment to discuss this topic. But this is a very good example of proposal that is serious, targets very important subjects, and it can solve an issue that some of the validators have.
Yeah, that's pretty one of those examples we could go. Also, you can come up with ideas about, let's say, implementation or new features, but those might have, I don't know, the definite timeline for that. It has to be discussed. It depends on how much we have to implement and how does it fit into the ecosystem. So it's good to have a discussion with us, and even if we might ask some harder questions on those regards. But some of the ideas from the Agora were from now taken into consideration. Such was the staking provider to staking provider migration and the differences around that. It was implemented, but it was postponed after Supernova. So that's one of those things, and others can do that as well. Barnard, again, for the governance to work very, very well, we request all the liquid staking providers to implement the delegate vote. You have an example on our community delegation and on the main liquid staking contract. Those are open source codes, and then everybody should do that in order to enable voting with liquid staking code, liquid stake tokens, and all kinds of derivatives if that smart contract implements it. Barnard also had a big preparations for Supernova, and also a much better composability between contracts with followable executions, not only with asynchronous calls, but with transfer and execute, and with execute on destination context as well. So new endpoints, new opcodes through which you can call other contracts, and you will get a return whether your transfer and execution have succeeded or not. Then you can decide on something. This is pretty much needed for, let's say, bridge operations or for cross DeFi operations. So you can start trying it out. It's on public testnet for now in a few hours, I think, and then it will become for the devnet and on the mainnet as well. And it was another 50K lines of code again, I think, or more. So, and it was, I don't know, we have 20 or 25 new opcodes for the Barnard. Those are some of the numbers to be taken into consideration.
Yeah, so give us quickly the timeline, and then we'll move on to another topic. So testnet going live today, then how quickly do you expect DevNet and mainnet to follow?
DevNet early next week, I think, and after that, somewhere mainnet.
Usually taking consideration 2 or 3 days.
Amazing. Well, I think now it's time to go to you and your baby and talk about it a little bit more. Another significant thing that happened this month was the launch of a new platform, very en vogue, of course, with the vibe coding movement accelerating and gathering steam. And we were here also live on a stream to kind of showcase it. But yeah, want to let you talk about VIBOX, the newest platform that you've been building, and invite Andre to join us as well. How's everything over there?
Hello, Andre.
Hi, good to be here again.
Yeah, so I believe we have 3 weeks, almost 2 weeks and a half, or 3 weeks since VIBOX was launched and announced and launched as alpha, as I said in the first when we launched it, because none of the apps, I mean the Vibe Passport was not available in Apple Store nor in Play Store, so it was basically an alpha. It was a closed, let's say, circle who could access and test the application, even though it was somehow automated for everyone to join. Meanwhile, the Vibe Passport, so the app that you need to use in order to prove the fact that you are the user who agrees to connect to certain applications, start the Vibe streaming, and probably we will say why we called it like that, and why, I don't know, sending some Vibes tokens from here to there. It's in Apple Store for 3 days. 3 days ago.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, something like that.
But it's very hard for the
Android one. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I was expecting to just have the Android version right away and then deal with Apple, but it looks like it was a lot easier publishing on the Apple Store than it is on the Android.
And actually, the blocking point, it's a misunderstanding in communication between us and the Google team. But obviously, we are going to solve that very fast. And about the way how you log in, we also have a surprise, which probably we will discuss in a few minutes about it. And it will actually open the opportunities for anyone and everyone to come and join experimenting on VIBOX, which basically at this moment, still in alpha, I would say, VIBOX is a creation platform for those who are not that experimented in writing code. Actually, I would say is a platform for everyone who wants to create something. People may argue that the quality of the creations or vibes, how we call them, is not at a certain level, even though it showed potential. And since then, we are working at Vibe Studio 2. And here I will give the mic to Andre to say a few words about Vibe Studio 2.
Right.
We cannot talk timelines because it's very hard, given the complexity of the entire architecture.
Yeah, so we cannot talk timelines because it's not a trivial thing to build. But I think that since we launched and since the launch, we have worked really hard and start from day one to build Vibe Studio 2. And from the architecture point of view and from infrastructure point of view, we have a solid foundation that we have already built. And what remains to be done, it's actually the I would not say the easy work, but the things that the user sees, the interfaces, the agents, or what we will use there. So yeah, there will
Talk
be a lot.
Guys, maybe just give an overview. I've vibed a bit. I've done my share of app publishing on the Vibe Store, but talk a little bit maybe about what the limitations of Vibe Studio 1 were that you now are addressing with the second version of it?
Right. So one of the limitations of the Vibe Studio 1 was that it was working only on Chrome, because we were using web containers on that, and having web containers in an iframe, we were limited to disable some of the features of cross-browsing compatibility, let's say, because web containers work in different browsers. It works on Mozilla, but as we use it in an iframe, we had to disable some of these compatibility features, and it only works on Chrome. And that's one thing. Then the other thing is that web containers can only run applications that are written in Node.js. So it's like a hard limit right there.
Very big problem when you want to build blockchain apps.
Right. So we cannot build like smart contracts with Rust or I don't know, with Swift. We cannot build a lot of things that we want to build, right? So that's the main limitation, I would say. Otherwise, I think it's great technology. Everyone, I think not everyone, but maybe a lot of you guys know that it was based on the open source Bolt version.
Mm-hmm.
So now we are building from ground up. It's an in-house solution, and it would be a lot better having our own virtual machines dedicated while the user are working on their projects. So everything will run in an actual Linux VM. So everything will be available, like Rust tooling, Node.js tooling, and who knows whatever else.
Whatever you want to build, that's actually
Exactly.
the beauty of it.
Yeah.
So if would be to provide our audience idea about how it will feel, we cannot say, because it's nothing else there on the market yet comparable to this.
It will not be, and I will not say a lot of how it will be, but how I would describe it, it's like it will feel like a collaboration between man and the machines.
Exactly.
So it will feel like actually collaborating and not talking with an empty soulless machine.
Yeah.
I think it will have a lot of personality, and the teamwork, as Mihai said, would be there, and you will feel it.
Yeah. But we've done some tests, and the tests show very good results. The beauty is you can have several voices.
Right.
And if we are building a sharded architectured blockchain, we can even go and make the analogy that we are building also a sharded sharded context building platform.
Right. That sounds good, actually.
Yeah, we should use it. And it will be very easy for anyone to build a front end for a blockchain app, smart contract, even though we have to put a very big disclaimer there. Do not trust this smart contract.
Absolutely.
Unless you audit it. But do not audit it with an AI. Even though that helps, but at least bring some
human intervention.
Yeah. Exactly. Human intervention will
and validation
will help. Yes, exactly.
Human with the help of AI. You cannot let AI out of the loop right now. Everybody needs. Yeah. Also, I need those 2 shirts from you. From both of you. I am like mad I did not get one.
Yeah, what's the one on the right? I haven't seen that one. I saw the Andreas one. You guys printed that for the launch, I think, but that looks like some kind of race shirt there.
It's a race shirt. I got it from the marathon.
Ah, amazing. I think that's actually our next guest can speak to this, but do we have any major updates to discuss on VIBOX before we reveal our
I would say that major updates not, but what I would like to do is to thank the entire community. We've seen very good responses from the community. The numbers.
A lot of constructive feedback. It feels like people want this to succeed, and they are really bringing value by bringing constructive feedback.
Yeah, even from the first day, and that was very impressive. if you remember, we had the launch here live streamed, and then we have to commute to our homes for a couple of minutes, and we closed the stream, and we were driving back home, and people were pinging on all channels, and we were like, we are driving, just give us
5 more minutes.
5 more minutes.
We'll be
yes.
there.
Yeah, so that was interesting. But afterwards, we tried, and somehow we managed to solve some of the problems. Some of the problems are still there just because of the architecture limitations. But I think with the time, we will be able to solve them.
Yeah, agree. For this closed alpha phase, it's been really amazing to see who has been contributing and how. And this building in public approach is, I think, extremely interesting, especially for for a platform like this. And with that, also somebody familiar with that theme and who has contributed greatly to VIBOX already. Welcome to the stage, Joachim. How are you?
Thank you very much. I'm very well. Excited to be here.
So how are we? You guys talked about this, so I'm not clued in. How do you guys want to do the announcement? Is it you? Is it who is announcing what here?
We will give all the credits to Joachim for this.
Well, no, it's actually been a team effort for the whole GAPA team, but also the MBX team to get this what we've been working on. So for quite a while, we've been working with GAPA login, which is an abstraction solution, as it was discussed earlier during this space. The main goal is to make using the blockchain as easy as possible and as safe as possible. And we were talking about self-custody, etc. And I think there is this, I believe strongly that there is this middle ground where certain users who aren't capable or have self-custody, but you want to offer them the most secure solution to be able to benefit of a decentralized solution. So with GAPA Labs, we've been working on GAPA login to offer that, to offer both self-custody and non-custody solutions to be able to interact with apps across MultiversX. And I was discussing with this, and we were discussing VIBOX, and I was like, VIBOX is kind of like the perfect playground to test GAPA login with a public alpha, but also because it has exactly the same mentality that we're having when it comes to GAPA login. It is to give people the ability to build and to exchange what they've built in a very easy way. So GAPA login, to explain very simply, allows for social login, so Google, Mail, and some of the social media platforms like TikTok and Discord that will be live shortly. But also for builders that are used to building in Web 2, let's say gaming, etc., to not having to learn a whole tech stack that is blockchain, but just being able to use API endpoints to do all the blockchain interactions in a very easy way. So that's why we've been working for the last, I would say, couple of weeks, day and night, to offer GAPA login on VIBOX, which also means that GAPA login is now sovereign chain ready, because we had to learn how to make it compatible to other chains than the main one. And so yeah, I'm not sure exactly at what timing it's going to go live. Andre is the mashup ceremony for that, but we are ready.
First,
yeah, that's good. Welcome to the Day and Night Builders Club.
Yeah, I mean, actually, Joachim, I think Andre, they were working up until 6 o'clock in the morning, our time.
Yeah, so last message from Joachim was like 6 o'clock in the morning. Mine was like 4 or something. Then I fall asleep, but it felt like 24-hour marathon with power naps in between. So it was crazy.
And short after, in 3 hours, Joachim was GM.
Yeah, so it was 10 o'clock, and Joachim sent me GM, and I was what?
Yeah. So
bottom line.
Do not recommend it, but yeah.
But you shipped it, so GAPA ready to be deployed. Is anybody gonna press a button during the show and we can live test it, or are
No.
people invited to do it?
Maybe shortly after. So it still has a bug that it's bugging me that I want to fix before releasing this, but it's really almost there. So we'll have it soon. live.
Around 6 a.m.
Maybe,
Everybody.
yeah. It's
Just
so
stay
it's
up.
Exactly.
for the US.
Exactly. I mean, congratulations. That's huge. Let's also talk. Well, you know, you already mentioned a little bit about why GAPA login, what it kind of enables for people. People can now use their TikTok account, any other kind of social accounts to get connected with the blockchain. And this is something GAPA Labs has been exploring in different ways for a while. And since you know, Mihai is wearing the race shirt, you also came up with a solution quite recently. I think there were 2 implementations that you did with GAPA for the marathon, being like a solution for payments on site in collaboration with VeroPay. Maybe you can talk about that a little bit, and then also a new abstraction layer for people that are runners and want to kind of like put their results on chain. So let's chat a little bit about Race Ledger and what you did at the marathon there.
Yeah, so first of all, massive shout out to Ovidio from VeroPay, who we worked with for this. So yeah, he took care of all the NFC bracelets and the payment structure. And basically, we're discussing because my partner runs marathons and half marathons, etc. I don't run much at all, but she does. And I was like, this is so cool. We have an NFC bracelet where people could be able to just tap it with their phone, etc. And there was also Dix ID. Or Dixit, I'm not sure how it's said, that allowed you to share your contact information with people. And we were just like, this can be brought so much further, because most people, if there's one app that I know one hobby loves, is Strava for runners. And basically Strava has, I would say, quite generous API structure. So we submitted as GAPA the possibility to be able to connect with Strava, and that at that moment it creates a wallet in the background that is linked to your Strava account, and to take the performance. So we coded an algorithm that checks your last race, compares it to the runs that are taking place. So during the Sibiu marathon, there was both a marathon and a half marathon, so we covered both of those. And so we compare basically the track offered by Strava and like the speed, etc., to make sure that it is a genuine race. And then if it is, the user can simply mint an NFT of their results. And we don't call it NFTs because we don't feel the need for that. Like we say, like we're engraving your results on chain to immortalize it. And the beauty with that is it gives the possibility to do that across several events and have your own like little digital trophy storage that you can show to others. And also, and that's the second part, which will come very soon, is order custom merch that is linked to that achievement created by us.
So the T-shirt there that Mihai is wearing is a little bit of a preview. Also, I think Robert ran that entire marathon. Did you come in first? That time was insane.
No, it was not first. I came, I think, 10th or 11th. It was a
impressive.
decent run. I wanted sub 3 hours, but it was 3 hours and 10 minutes and something. It was still good. Preparing for the next one. I hope the next one will go under 3 hours, but it's hard.
Was it your first marathon?
Yeah, it was my first marathon.
Yeah, because there's one thing, just for the sake, since we talk about running, it is quite interesting to say that like most people that are going to run a marathon never run the total length of a marathon before a marathon. You actually usually tend to do half marathons, etc., because it is too taxing to do the whole thing as actual practice. So it is very interesting, like the momentum build up.
Yeah, it is not even recommended to run the
exactly.
full length before, just around 30K to run maximum before.
Back to GAPA for a minute, and then we'll let you go, Joachim. Let's talk a little bit more about the potential of these solutions. And then also you mentioned the integration of the sovereign chain, of course, but like what other solutions are you working on at the moment? Do you feel like this expansion into sovereign chains is a significant step also for GAPA, not just in terms of integrating VIBOX, but perhaps doing this on other customizable chains? Yeah, kind of like give us a little bit of a preview of what you're currently still working on, besides maybe the login abstraction, but also just the solutions that you're building on MVX right now.
Yeah, so GAPA Labs, for the ones who followed us for a while, because we've been here for a while, we're doing supply chain transparency and loyalty systems for small to medium enterprises. And basically, we started with doing that, starting building the supply chain management tool. And then we started realizing, like, there's so many pieces of the puzzle that are missing in Web3 in general to be able to offer a thorough and trustworthy solution. So we kind of like backtracked and like had like, this is our main goal, but to get to that, there is all those checkpoints and milestones that need to be achieved. And one of them was the account abstraction. We were just like, why are we spending so much time creating a wallet abstraction and only use it for ourselves when we can make it benefit for everyone? So we kind of like spend more time focusing on that to offer it. But yeah, in the future, the idea is that both businesses, regular businesses, and users who will use products that are built by GAPA without even realizing they're interacting with blockchain, except when it comes to verifying the authenticity, etc. Like, I have a feeling like, sadly, until recently, a lot of blockchain felt just like additional friction with very little benefit. I want it to be the other way. I want it to be no additional friction compared to Web 2, but all the benefits.
Yeah, super interesting. So that's, and then the login really, I think, adds another layer for just on the user end. And then of course, very interested also to, maybe come with a case study or something very soon of how businesses can benefit, because I think that's something that's really missing, like the missing link sometimes when we're trying to talk about this technology is like, okay, what are concrete examples? And I think this idea of supply chain, of course, has always been one, but then encountering all of the other steps, intermediary steps, perhaps, where there's still so much friction that even a business that kind of recognizes the importance or the value of doing these things on chain still needs to jump through too many hoops right now. And the users that want to be on board as well just have too much to do to still really be able to benefit from this technology. So yeah, super interesting. Yeah, anything, give us just before we let you go, maybe where can people find you, where should people follow you, and if you want to drop any other alpha other than just launching your new solution on VIBOX, feel free to as well, of course.
Yeah, so you can find GAPA and myself mostly on Twitter. You can also, I'm very open on Telegram, so it's the same tag as on Twitter. So if you have any feedback, any questions about GAPA, just drop me a DM. I do my best to answer as quickly as possible. And we are redoing a website again, because we are now a more all-encompassing software company than just focusing on supply chain. So a new website will go live in the next coming days. So I'm not going to put it yet, but yeah, keep an eye on the socials. And we're aiming also to be much more present on, I would say, more Web2 focused platforms like Instagram, TikTok, etc. Because that is where most users and most small businesses are. And that's something I find absolutely fascinating, is like the relationship that small businesses have with their consumers, with their clients, through their interactions on social media, and it has kind of become this new marketing way. So that's where we are going next, to make sure that we are part of the discussion in how to make those smaller businesses more visible.
Amazing. Well, Joachim, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for everything that you do. Congratulations on the very, very imminent launch now. You'll let us know at 6 a.m. when things are ready, and we'll be in
hopefully
there
before that.
testing the systems. But yeah, with that, good luck and talk very, very soon.
Thank you for having me. Take care, folks.
Cheers all. Next up, want to talk. We'll go a little bit more on like in this direction, a little bit more community focused developments on MVX. Yesterday, just want to maybe we'll drop a link again in the show notes or something later. But Joachim and a lot of the founders that are on MVX have so many like knowledge bits to share. Everybody who's been building here for a long time. Is doing that. So MVX also not just on this code focused thing, but we're also trying to expand a little bit more about education on marketing, on business, etc. So yesterday, a cool moment, had two founders on a different stream, shared some knowledge about how to survive and thrive with your businesses. So look out for that if you're on YouTube right now. Check that out. That was, I think, very instructive. Also, a big thing that we're trying to do more of is to get direct feedback from users. And that includes on Telegram, there's a new channel for feedback. There's a new feedback form you can fill out with any suggestions. This goes from big to smaller stuff, and also an amplification request. If you have something that you're building, you want us to talk about it, you want to be on the show, let us know. We always love talking to builders. So just kind of like opening up that invitation. Now, the first person actually to fill out the amplification form for founders is about to join us, because there's something very special happening in a faraway town called Boogas Town, or I don't know how it's called, but we'll let Alex explain that to us himself. What's up? Where the hell are you? Hey, Alex.
Hey guys, I'm still in Boogas Town. We are ready to cross the portal on the 30th of June. Thanks for having me. Hopefully I will be in your times really, really soon. We, are building Boogas, a storytelling brand about the prehistoric characters that unexpectedly end up in modern day times. And we are rolling out our full plan for taking over the timeline. So on the 30th of June, all of the Boogas will be crossing the portal. They will end up on X, and we are going to create an amazing experience for all of the participants. Can't wait. It's been 2.5 years in the making, 500 plus traits, 100 of which are fully animated. The whole collection is just something remarkable. We are still here in the prehistoric times, trying to, make sure everything is live on Monday. However, the portal is looking good. The animations are looking good, so everything is looking booktastic.
So let's. Sorry, go ahead. You have more. There's more.
Go ahead, man.
No, I wanted to take us back like a tiny step, right? Like you and I have known each other for I don't know how many years, 2 or 3, I think. You've been part of the community. You've seen a lot of different phases of MultiversX. You've decided to launch your own NFT project in times where nobody is launching NFT projects who has any reasonable outlook on life at all. So let's talk about like kind of the changes that you've seen, what you want to do with Boogas, and perhaps where you see the space.
Well, at the end of the day, there's not many NFT projects because it's a major gamble, right? Like it takes a lot of dedication, loads of work, and you don't really know how well you're gonna do, right? And at the end of the day, at the moment, it's not the meta, right? Like it's not trendy. However, at Boogas, we're much more than just an NFT project. We're building out a fully scaled brand, right? So there's different layers. There's the whole story, the whole IP, the Boogas, and at the same time, there's all of the products that we are creating, all of the MVPs that we've created. Why are we launching Boogas and through digital collectibles and the way we are is because the biggest, I guess, pro of it is you get to form a real community of people that are located all around the world. If you utilize all of their strengths, all of their connections, all of the networking effect, you can literally launch a brand on steroids and you can have hyper growth right at the beginning, right? So it's kind of a reversed model of launching a brand. We could just launch with our products. However, I actually believe that if you have a genuinely good product and a good business model, right? The NFTs, the digital collectibles, they're just one product of the whole world that you're building. And at Boogas, we're building a whole world, Boogatown, and the whole story. So, you know, it will be a multifaceted Web3 brand in the future, you know, that's going to be build up of all of these smaller things along the way. And, you know, we just want to create dope experiences for the people, for the participants. And we want to bring back the vibes of 2021, 2022, when it was fun to mint and it was fun to actually be a part of a community. You know, it wasn't just a Discord, it was a group of people united in one goal, one mission to make the brand successful. And, you know, we have dedicated nearly 3 years of our lives to this. And honestly, I couldn't be more prouder of what we have managed to achieve. You know, people are starting to wake up, people are starting to pay attention. And, you know, I'm just super excited for this ride, ready for it, you know, and we've got the whole few years planned out, what we want to do, how we want to do it. And it's not that this sector is not hot anymore, it's just become a lot harder to get the notice from people, because people are they know more. So basically you need to come with a dope vision, dope product, and actually deliver on your promises. You know, there has been too many brands, projects that have, you know, talked about metaverses and all of these big dreams. At Boogas, you know, we have big dreams, but all of the end goal is divided into small steps, small actions that we can take. And, you know, we want to deliver on all of them as we go along, you know, and it's going to be a marvelous journey to be a part of. You know, we want to take the community for the ride. We want to really have an amazing experience for all, you know, so I'm really excited for it and can't wait to land on MultiversX. I heard it's a wonderful place.
Well, it is the best. I know, like, we have some collectors in the room. I think, yeah, Robert, you have your babies. I don't know.
I have my babies as well.
I think everybody should have their babies. So is this like a new CryptoKitties moment for the Web3?
I think it is. I think it is, Robert. I think we are aiming high. We've got a lot of support from the outside as well. So hopefully that comes through. And, you know, at the end of the day, Boogas is happening regardless, you know, like
I want to see the blogs full of Boogas. So the MultiversX chain, the blog, you have to create some activity on the chain. That's the fun of it. So let's have those blogs full with all kinds of actions.
Definitely. Right after the mint, you're actually going to be able to lay down traps on a gamified mint, which is going to be called the hunt, and you'll be able to catch other characters. So that straight away is going to be something that you will be able to do. And it's not just, you know, staking. It's actually a cool activity that is going to, you know, bring some good memories and just cool experiences, you know, because that's what we need more in this space. We need good memories, good vibes, good experiences, so that people actually, you know, stay here, you know, and enjoy this space.
Just because you mentioned vibes, what about making a Boogas festival on VIBOX, where people will just have to build applications related to Boogas?
Or some sort of towns.
That is a great idea, and I actually already pitched that idea to Lucas. So I'm excited to get all of the Boogas vibing.
With the GAPA login too, I think this is an interesting way, right, to bring in new people without any friction, have them explore, you know, a chain without exploring any chain, but just mini games. I also actually have something to pitch you after this, which I cannot make public yet. But there's some cool stuff happening. So before we let you go back to your Boogatown and resume our nerdy talks over here, just walk us through the next couple of steps. So on Monday, June 30th is mint date, and then you already teased a game that's happening maybe the same day, or just walk us a little bit through the immediate timeline next few weeks.
Yeah, immediate steps is we go through the portal together. All of the prehistoric came and go through the portal. as soon as they end up on MultiversX, in Booga Town, and they will be modern, they will be old, there will be a blend of all of the characters that we have created. That will be the first step. That will take part on the 30th of June at 1600 hours UTC. And we are really hoping that the portal is gonna be good. It's a bit glitchy at the moment, but hopefully by Monday it will be powerful and strong, and it will allow all of the Boogas to go through. However, provided no delays, that is what is gonna happen. The hunt, we want the Boogas to acclimatize a bit with Booga Town in the new world. Kind of catch the rhythm. So the hunt is planned to start about 2 weeks into them being in the new world, and it's going to be a really cool experience, as I said. And everything that we plan to launch is going to be top tier and really cool. At the end of the day, it's just something that I would like to have. And all that we're creating together with James is my co-founder here back in the prehistoric times. Everything that we're creating is for us, basically, right? So it's everything that we would love to have in the brand, everything that we value, everything that we cherish. And we just want to bring the game, we're ready for it. We have been planning a long time for this, and it's game on. It's game on Monday, and I'm really, really excited to see how all of this is going to unravel and how the Boogas are going to be adapting to the modern day times, because it's something super exciting for us.
Yeah,
definitely.
Alex, congratulations. Obviously been following this path for a long time. This is not just a mint that's thrown out there to make some quick bucks. This has been, meticulously planned for a year plus easily. You've been out there in the trenches every single day. And I think very, very rare to see so much thought and effort put into a project like this, and very excited to be there on Monday and get and see my babies grow up.
Yeah, you'll have an option for that, definitely.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us, Alex. Rock. This was Rock Boogas. Mint is on June 30th on Monday. Very special project to be a part of. So hope to see a lot of you there. Thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you very much. I'll see you guys in Booga Town.
Exactly. Before we wrap up, there's just a few other highlights I'd also like to share. So I'm going to switch screen, hopefully show you guys what I'm seeing here. A lot of things happened, and it's sometimes a bit hard to keep track of all of it. So I made some slides. This is starting somehow with not the first slide, but the second. But just want to give out a shout out to a bunch of cool things that happened this month and this week. This is actually a big one, 20,000 installs for AI Nexus, a new gaming project that just launched its first app. 20,000 installs. So I don't know what we're up to right now. I think they've been averaging 2,000 or 3,000 per day. That translates into on-chain wallets. So everybody who has the app installed actually also has a MultiversX wallet in the background. Another super cool example of, I think, how abstraction can invite a completely new user audience into this space. And I think interesting games right now, go download that as well. It's on iOS and Android, something that Mihai and Andre will also provide very soon. Then I also wanted to show you guys this trailer, which I loved. Check out this. Coming soon to MultiversX Arcadia, I think a super, super cool example of gaming and what gaming can do and how cool it can look, even though it's. Okay, great. I think very excited about that one. I think the graphics are on point. I want to jump right into playing that. I think they're going to release that in Q3, if I'm not mistaken. So something to look forward to. But go follow Arcadia as well on the socials. They have a new website. Sign up for that.
I finished Zelda 6 times.
There you go. So we'll see you on that game. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really the kind of graphics. I really love it. I'm not a gamer. I have never once finished Zelda, but this is a game that I'll try and finish. I hope there's some social aspects to it. I like the building parts. I like the farming parts. Really looks great. Also wanted to give a shout out to VLeaps. Could do this basically every month that we do here. Our friend Micha is building PeerMe and Joe AI through a company called VLeaps, where they've had a bunch of breakthroughs in the past weeks and months, but is now using basically starting to provide a very comprehensive business tooling solution, using AI for everything. He's a big fan of all the agents that he's built. We're starting to benefit from it actually, and one big thing that he's also put out in the past month is this cool case study on X Alliance. If you're not familiar, X Alliance is the community accelerator on MultiversX, and it's actually completely managed, or the vast majority of the funds, etc., are managed on chain through PeerMe, through VLeaps, through the automations that they can provide, saving tons of time. And so there's a case study for you to check out. We'll also provide that in the show notes. Then Robert, I want to ask you about this. You and Mihai were here. Tell us a little bit about this picture.
So we have a collaboration with ELTE, the biggest technical university in Hungary. And we started the collaboration last year, and we were looking at different ways in which we could engage. And this year they organized the Central European Cryptographic Conference, and they invited us to be part of it. And here you see me speaking about how do we practically integrate new algorithms and new cryptographic solutions into blockchain, and what are, let's say, the steps we need to take from theory to practice, and what are, let's say, the next big things we need to solve in cryptography. It was a really high quality event, big professors presenting insane papers which appeared in the biggest papers, like those scientific journals. And then it was pretty insane math there, so it was hard to follow what they were presenting, but when looking through AI and the papers on the laptop, it made more sense. But it was great. So, and we had a lot of fun talk about cryptography and its limitations for different things, and why do we need new types of algorithms. And then we were discussing about how we can ensure our collaboration to go on. And then, let's say, we are defining a set of primitives we want from quantum proof cryptography, and then start working with different minds on that.
Nice. And I think, like, maybe Mihai, you can speak to this also a tiny bit more, because going to universities is really one of these things that we've been trying to do much more of. And I think you already have the next event lined up for next week or something, maybe. Just talk a little bit about the importance of this kind of outreach and connection.
So just because you mentioned in a short parenthesis to what Robert was saying, the mathematics I learned during the university seemed like a very nice story to the discussions that we had at ELTE. But yes, next week we are going to have symposium, I think it is, in a university at the Black Sea in Constanța. It's actually a reunion biggest technical universities in Romania are sending students to this symposium, and there is one day called blockchain, or the main topic is the blockchains, and we are like a main part of it, and we are going to talk about MultiversX products, and then opportunities for the students. But this is not only one event that we are doing, and only one let's say collaboration. We are in contact with, as I think I said also before, more than 20 universities, and we are actively developing and trying to find what would attract students and would make them understand the benefits, as we were talking in the beginning of the podcast, the benefits of using these kind of systems like blockchains for the good of technology in future. Like having all those problems in the entire world obviously will bring some new use cases into attention of masses, enterprises, and will open opportunities for students.
Yeah, super interesting, and I think that outreach is great. Could have done some more pictures and events here, but the last thing I wanted to show, of course, can't let this month go by without it. MVX on Times Square. How did that feel for you guys? I mean, Andre, I know I think you were quite excited. On the right, we can see the VIBOX ad that we ran like a few days after the launch. What were your feelings on seeing that there?
I mean, it was a little bit overwhelming when I find out. I mean, Mihai sent me a sneak peek before, and I was like, "What? This is crazy."
AI generated.
Yeah, AI generated. And then I saw that it was for real, and I mean, it really felt like really good, knowing that something that we did got there, and it's out in the public and ready to be explored.
And I think too, like on the left, and I'll play it in a second. I think it hasn't really been played in full anywhere. So all that people have seen are the pictures. I will just talk about this picture for 1 second because I think it's funny, and shows that it's not staged. I sent my friend there knowing that this was going to play, and if you look at the bottom left, you can see while this was just one of the ad times that we had there, but while this was playing, a protest was going on Times Square. I asked her, I was like, what are these like people chanting about? And you can see, yeah, the American flag, the Ukraine flag. So there was some kind of protest. Maybe shows you that this was not AI generated, or at least a very, very sophisticated prompt. But yeah, some cool things. I think, again, kind of a new era in terms of like the messaging. Hope that's been clear as well. But that was really fun, and I just want to show you guys the full ad as well. I'm not sure if you guys have even seen it, so we'll take a look at it together. It's very short, I think 15 seconds long, but this is what played on Times Square. And then, of course, there was an extra little thing that you can't see here, the top layer there. So
that's nice. That's cool.
That was it. Also, hopefully, like, saw a bunch of projects being excited. Of course, the logo was made up of all projects, or almost all projects that are building in the ecosystem. Probably some were missed there, which always happens. Deep apologies to everybody. I'll come and apologize to you personally at some point when I see you. It wasn't my fault, but yes. So just wanted to show that. I think a super exciting moment. I think when we're talking about momentum on the show, this is both the forward momentum that we can create when we write the next piece of code or improve the upgrade, but of course it so crucially involves everybody building alongside us and the team. And so I think, yeah, big shout out to everybody who also, by extension, was on Times Square, and I think that was a fun moment, and it probably won't have been the last. So that's some fun stuff to look forward to. For now, I think, unless you guys want to spill some tea on what you're building, we can wrap it up for today, and then see what we got done next month.
What we are building is Supernova. What I am building, actually.
I mean, do you want to tell us how quickly what the timeline looks like? I mean, the only question you're inviting here is when, right? So
no responses to that. We are working as fast as possible, always pushing the limits.
No doubt. What's next for you guys, Mihai and Andre? Plans for this month?
Definitely the main focus is on the Studio 2, but now that we have the new login method, the GAPA login, then we will deliver it with along with some visual enhancements. So in parallel, we are doing the little stuff, and yeah, as I said, the main focus will be on the Studio and all there is around it.
Yeah, so I think with this new upgrade, with bringing GAPA login, you will see that we are also coming back on some of the fundamentals and improve what has been done initially in order to show you the MVP, or
like, yeah, adding the little things and the final touches to
Exactly.
the visual parts and enhancing and make it more how can I say it? I don't know, more
a pleasure to see.
yeah, a pleasure to see.
And we will continue discussing all the suggestions that we got from the community in the feature base board, and we will not just delete without any response. We will be there and we will respond, and we will come also with suggestions or improvements on that. We will continue offering support on the support Telegram channel, and we will take part by part, and we will improve based on the feedback that we got and based on the ideas that we
Right.
got, and the improvements will be felt. This is very important for everyone to know. And what we will do, so now we launched, it's in public, anyone can start experimenting. We will have a period of time of building, like Vibe Studio 2 has to be launched, even though it's going to be a beta or just to prove the power that it has. And afterwards, we will continue growing on that and delivering on that. And only then we will push a little more on the pedal of acceleration, just because we will have a product that will probably not change that much. So, and this is a disclaimer, the Vibe Studio 2 is going to be completely changed from Vibe Studio 1. And the way how you will interact with it is going to be completely different than the way how you interact with Vibe Studio 1. As easy as it is now, only the feeling will be different.
As I like to say, it's like it will feel like it will have a soul.
Yeah.
Or many souls, or I don't know.
More than one soul, exactly. A swarm of souls.
I see why you're chewing off people's ears at the farmers market about this new feature. Very, very fun memes that were going around there.
That was AI generated.
That was, as all the other stuff today, AI generated. Robert, before we sign up, can you quickly answer this question? What's the best repository to follow Supernova development?
Mixchain Go, and then search for RC Andromeda and all the pull requests going towards that.
Amazing. Now you know. Go follow the updates. Thank you so much, guys, for being here today, taking the time to explain all these updates, and of course, improving the network and the Vibe chain and Vibe Studio as you go along. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today, taking the time to watch us yap on about different things, from Ethereum to social logins and everything else. Always a pleasure to be here. We shall see you kind of same time as always next month last Thursday of the month of July. A lot of things will have to be discussed in that one as well. Can't wait to do that with all of you guys. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Andre. Thank you, Mihai. And we'll chat